Hey, you go, Ms. Pointer. Can you hear me okay?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nigel Herat. I'm from AECOM, the consulting team who's carrying out the TAM assessments for DRPT. Grace, should we get cracking then? I think we've got, yeah, a healthy turnout. I see Josie and Scott online as well.
And we need to wait for Jose. I don't know if Jose is online.
Jose's online. I see him. Yeah. So I think Stephanie might not be able to join, but just a quick round of introductions for anyone who wasn't here last week. So I'm Nigel Herath. I'm a project analyst with, well, I'm a transportation planner with AECOM. I'm the project analyst. Just filling in for Stephanie today, who's a project manager. She's feeling a bit under the weather today, so hence that's why she can't join. We have Scott Dunbar on the line as well. He's our technical lead, as well as Jose Gonzalez Garcia. He's been helping set up the application. He's our tech guy. So yeah, Scott, Jose, if you want to just say hi, and then we can pass it along to Grace, who's the DRPT project manager.
Yeah, I think you covered it. Obviously, some of these folks we've met with already last week. So it's just a continuation. I guess let Grace decide if now's a good time to start, if she's waiting for more people. I don't know how many people we were expecting.
Yeah, I think we can get started. I mean, people can trickle in. I think the biggest thing is that we record this. Oh, it looks like we are. Okay, great.
Oh, and then one other thing I forgot to mention was that the survey deadline, we've extended that to, let me just confirm, but I believe we extended it to November 1st, just because we took a little extra time to get things up and running. So thanks for your patience with that. So yeah, you have a little bit of extra time to get that to us. So thank you. With that, yeah, I guess, Grace, we can hand over to Scott and Jose, you guys can take it away. Thank you.
I think he's probably already said something to her.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how many folks have sat in on this previously, and also I don't know who has at least started their survey. Some of you may have finished. If there's any feedback from your experiences in the field, something we need to highlight as we go through the demo. I mean, it's going to be kind of very similar to what we saw last week. So it's important for us to know what if there are issues or questions that have come up in the past week. You know, those are key for us to kind of hone in on. All right, no questions. I'll let Jose go ahead and share your screen, and we can just go walk through the data collection application and the process. We've now got facilities loaded in, Jose, so now we can touch on that a little bit and so forth.
Okay. So you want me to start? Well, I'm using my computer for this demo. Obviously, you can download the app, the Power App, from your device or your phone, your tablet. But in this case, I'm using.
And then in addition to that, you can also download it and do the surveys on your computer, like Jose is showing you now. I think it's worth noting, Jose, that on the computer, the interface looks a little bit different, especially for taking the photos. So that'll be different. But you know, if you decide to do it on your computer, you can take photographs with some other device, a camera, your phone, whatever, upload those to your hard drive, and then import them the way Jose is going to show you on the demonstration here. If you're doing it with a tablet or an iPhone or a phone of some sort, then you would actually take the pictures with your device inside of the application. It's a one little minor difference between the computer and the mobile app.
Yes. So in this case, I already downloaded the Power App from my computer, and here on the right corner on top, I'm logging with this account. You already have been provided with some user and password. So the first time you open the Power App, it's going to ask you for an email address and then the password. Once you log in, you are going to be able to see the apps. In this case, because this is my account, I see a lot of apps, but the one you're going to see is this one, is the one that is called Plan Spend FCA DRPT Client.
And that should be the only app. When you log in, we provided 3 separate logins and passwords last week. When you log in with one of those, you should only see one app, and that's the one that Jose is talking about, the FCA DRPT client. That should be the only thing that shows up.
Yes. Once you see this app, you can click on the app and it's going to open it. It's important to mention that the first time you open the app, you need to be connected to the internet. Because we need to download all the catalogs and all the information in the dropdowns for the first time, especially if you are using a tablet or a phone and you are not able to have internet access all the time. So that's important. So
Jose, we should touch on version too. So we did an update a couple of days ago. What version should everybody see on the most updated version of the application for those that started maybe last week and now need to update their version?
Yes. So every time you open the app, if we publish a new version, any change, here on the top, it will appear a bar saying that there's a new version. You just need to click refresh, and that will refresh. We also manage a version here on the bottom on the right corner. Right now, the version is 1.02.10. That's the latest version that you should be using. So also, when you open the app for the first time, it's going to mark that it's connected and it's going to save locally all the catalogs and templates. This little icon on the left corner at the bottom, this signal icon means you are connected to the internet. Because I need to be connected for the demo, I cannot show you how it looks like offline, but when you are offline, or if your tablet or phone is offline, is going to appear a plane.
And just the airplane, just to reinforce what Jose is saying. So when you're on this screen that we see now, everybody, you need to be connected to the internet. You should see those little circles down in the left corner. Once you begin the survey, once you get past this initial screen, it's okay to be offline. You don't have to be connected to the internet at that point.
Yes. Okay, once everything is done, you can begin clicking on begin survey. This new screen is going to be blank for you if it's the first time you're using the app. In this case, I already create three facilities. That's why I have these 3 records and I can see them. But in your case, it's going to be a blank screen just with these 2 buttons here. You can go back to the main page, or you can click on the new, so you can create a new survey for the facility you are going to start doing the assessment. You click on the plus, it will take you a new screen. Here in this screen is where all the data is here. We divide the data in 4 segments or 4 tabs. The first one is the information of the facility. The second one is information about the classification of the assets, how you are going to classify how you are going to classify your assets. And then all the assets you are going to start creating is in the 3rd tab. And if you have any deficiency, it's going to be on the 4th tab. So the first tab is the first step. The first thing you need to do is put in your name. Then here you will have a list of all the sites and facilities. There's some numbers here. I don't know if you want to explain this, Scott.
Yeah, we provided, I think Nigel yesterday emailed out the list of facilities and what that means to you. So each location should correspond to one of these codes. So you just need to look on that list, figure out which are your sites, and complete the surveys for that site. Once you have the site selected, then you want to pick the type of building. So if this is only for dedicated buildings, I know a lot of people have, like, for example, a combined admin and maintenance building where it's, admin in the front, maintenance in the back. In that case, that is one facility. It's only one survey. And you can pick either admin or maintenance depending on what you feel is the most dominant part of the building, I guess. But then in any standalone facilities, like if you have a separate admin and a separate maintenance, you want to do one survey for each. If you've got a fueling station out, in the parking lot there, you want to do a survey for that. If you've got a separate bus wash, you want to do a survey for that. So each building should be separate, but combined buildings, you just pick which one makes the most sense. So if it's maintenance and wash, you would probably just pick the maintenance facility and do that survey.
Okay, you select the site and you will have a list of facilities. Like Scott mentioned, if you change the site, you have different facilities. You select one facility. The current location is by default. It shows the address of that site. You type your email address. And then you accept the terms below, just click accept, and then you need to add a cover photo. Once this data is done, you click here on add cover photo. And then it will take you to this screen, and this screen is where you can see the photos. You need to click on this button to add a photo. Like Scott mentioned earlier, because I'm in the computer, it's going to show, or it's going to ask me to pick the photo or the picture from my computer. In the case of a phone or a tablet, it will ask you to take the picture. It will ask you if you want to open the camera and take the picture. You take the picture of the site, and then that will add the picture here.
Yeah, this picture is meant to be kind of like a money shot of the building you're doing the assessment of, just so we can verify. If you take a picture of a fueling station, but you call it an admin building, we understand something's not right. So we want to just make sure you take pick the right picture of the facility you're doing an assessment on. And this picture is required. You have to take this picture in order to move forward.
Okay, once you take the picture, you need to click on the button save photo. Right, the photo is added. You get a message saying photo save, and then you can go back with this icon with the arrow to go back. Then you go back. Once you add the photo, you cannot change the site. Your survey has been created, so it's already created to this site. If in the case you select a wrong facility or a wrong site, you will have to go back and create a new survey with the right data, because this survey is already created and it's locked down.
Right, you can go back and delete this survey and make a new one from scratch.
Yes. You want me to do that?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Okay. All right. So once you're done here, you can scroll down and then we can move to the next tab, which is the asset classifications. Okay. I just want to clarify that you can save the survey and add photos. You can also save here. Let's say you want to add I put wrong my name, so I just click save survey and that saves those changes, right? I want to clarify in this screen, you see this button that it says submit survey. This is the last step, and it only is available when you are connected with this sign on icon here. If you see the airplane, this button is disabled, right? So, and this is the last step when your survey is complete. So you can collapse the section, you can leave it open, you scroll down, and then we are ready to add a new classification. If you open the classification, we see we have 0 classification because we are starting the survey, and we have the plus, so we can add a new classification. You click on the plus, it will ask you for a name. This is just for you to reference what is this classification about. I will pick the name later, but then you have the classification levels. We have 4 levels. The ideal is that you select the 4 levels. Only the 1, 2, and 3 are mandatory, but it's better if you select the 4.
And
So
the classification is basically what type of asset is this? So the HVAC and you want to do air handlers, for example, that's the classification. You know, air handlers are a classification. You may have multiple of those, which will be your assets, but the classification is air handlers, or, you know, the classification might be roofing or exterior walls or interior walls. They're just the type of asset that you are going to do an assessment of. And Nigel sent out last week a list, or Nigel or Stephanie, I can't remember, sent out the list of all the hierarchy, which includes these classifications. So you can kind of use that as a guide.
okay, you select your classifications. I select the full levels. I select interior, staircases, stair construction, and the full level is stair handrails, wire drills, and accessories. And I put a name just to identify that this is a staircases.
So for
Right.
this one, Jose, why don't you, instead of staircases, why don't you put handrails? Just to clarify what
Okay.
you're looking at there.
Okay, once this is done, you click Save Classification, and it's going to take you back to the previous screen where you see the facilities. You can scroll down. I'm going to collapse this, and then you can see now I have a new classification. You can add more here.
Yeah, go ahead and add another one. Add something different. Do like D30.
Okay. So you can click in the plus, and then you add a new one. So I select D30 HVAC, and then which one do you want?
Terminal and package units.
Okay. And
then let's do package units.
package units. And the name is package units.
Yep.
Okay, once you select all of these, you can just click Save Classification, and that's it. We click Save Classification, and now you have two classifications, right? So here it's also important to know that in the parentheses you can see how many classifications you have. We start with 0, now we have 2, and then it's one that says selected, and it tells you which one is selected. So you can select by clicking on it, and that will tell you which one is selected. This is important because when you create the assets, those assets will be inside of this classification, or is going to belong to that classification. So in this case, I'm going to select package units.
And just also, Jose, it's important to note, like, just because you create a classification, it doesn't mean you have to do anything. So if you put package units in there as a classification, and then you decide later you don't have package units, you don't have to do anything. Just leave it be. You just don't add assets to it. Like you can create as many classifications as you want. And like I said, you don't have to use them.
Yes. Yeah, one of the things we also recommend is that before you go into the facility, you can create all the classifications you think you are going to use. And like Scott said, if you don't use it, it's okay, but at least you don't have to spend a little more time while you are in the facility creating more classifications if you created them earlier in the day or a day before. Well, once the classification is, I select package unit, so I'm going to create a new asset. It's the same process. I don't have any asset yet, so I'm going to click on the plus, and it's going to take me to this page. Here it will tell you you are working on this facility, FAC 002 admin, and you are in this classification package unit. The asset has two tabs, so it's important to know that these are two tabs. We are in the detail tabs, but we need to also work on the rating tab. Okay. The mandatory fields are the one who has the asterisk at the beginning. So here, this is our. You need to scroll down to see all the fields. Sorry. I'm going to put a name to this asset. So asset
So
one.
call it RTU1, for example, Jose.
RT1.
RTU.
RTU. Okay.
1.
So, I mean, again, you depending on what level you do this, you may decide to do all of your RTUs together or all of your package units together, which is okay. You know, if you go down to a level 3 or 4, you don't have to be super specific, but these are actual assets now. You're rating package units, actual package units. They're not just a classification anymore. They're something that you can see with your eyes or something that you know exists.
Okay. We also load some areas here, first floor, second floor, garage, all the areas, you can select them. And then depending the area you select, you will have a list of locations.
Area and location are not required for this level of assessment, but if you want to put them in there, just especially if you have a deficiency and you want to let, you know, someone know like RTU number 1 on the roof is not working properly or something like that. You know, it's good just to leave a little bit of breadcrumbs in there to provide a little extra context, but not required.
Okay. Quantity is required. You can click on here, and if you are in your laptop, or you can just type the number in your tablet, it will appear the tablet keyword. But we also have this icon where you can enable on-screen keyboard, and if you want, you select the quantity.
Well, I would put 5.
5. Okay.
And then make the unit of measure ton, TON.
Tones. Okay. You select the unit measure. And some comments. And you have also, if you know the manufacturer, model number, and serial number, you can enter. And then the year is installed is mandatory.
Yeah, again, manufacturer, model number, serial number not required. Year installed is required. If you don't know, make your best guess.
Okay. So once you are done with this tab, with this screen, you can move to the ratings. And the ratings is the 4 questions about how you see these assets.
Right, and this comes from the again, the color coded table that Nigel or Stephanie sent out last week. You'll have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left side with the colors, and then across the top will be each one of these asset age, asset condition, and so forth. So that's kind of your guide for how to fill out these ratings.
Okay, I'm just selecting some random options here. Useful live reminding. Select number there. Once you are done, you need to add a equipment photo. You can add equipment photos. You click on the bottom to add equipment photos, and it's going to take you a similar screen for the cover photo, where take you to this screen. You need to click on add photo button. It will ask you to take the picture. In this case, I'm going to just select this one. Once I take the picture, I click Save Equipment Photos, and it's going to show it here. The photo is saved, and I can go back. I go back to my asset, and then I can click Save Equipment, and my asset is created. Okay, so here is the data of the assets. It's important to note that this asset is on the package unit as classification. If I change my classification, it didn't hide. I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
So you can now select the other classification
So
and create a new
what
asset.
should be happening, if you go back, Jose, when you switch to handrails, that's supposed to be blank. We've got something we need to fix, but it should be
Yeah.
blank for handrails because we haven't identified any handrail assets yet. Only package units. If you were to put a handrail asset now, then that would show up only for handrails.
Mhm. I will check that. That was we just edit this and save again.
Okay, we can come back to it later on there.
Okay. So that's it. Now you create the assets, and also it's the same. To create a deficiency, you need to select an asset so you'll be able to create a deficiency. So you click on deficiency and the plus, and he will tell you you are under the survey, this facility, under this classification, and this is the asset you are going to create a deficiency. So the first thing is selecting a deficiency type is a very extensive list here. I don't know, like a missing part or something. And then you can select the severity of the deficiency, how if it's very high, medium, and then the quantity or the percentage of deficiency.
So quantity, the percent, it's one or the other. It's either going to be quantity or percent deficient. I tend to use percent deficient when it's big things like a parking lot or a roof, instead of trying to quantify, 5,000 square feet of a 100,000 square foot roof. You can just put in 5%. Same for like a parking lot or carpets or something like that, something with a big quantity. Otherwise, I would just use the quantity field. And for this one, it's a 5-ton unit, so I would say 5 tons would be your deficiency. You're going to replace the whole unit.
Okay, you can put some comments about explaining why you think this is a deficiency or explaining the deficiency. And then adding a deficiency photo, a photo of the deficiency. It's the same screen for the cover and the assets. Click add photo, take the picture. In this case, because I'm in the computer, I'm just selecting random image I have. Click save deficiency photo, waiting for the photo to be saved, and then I can go back and then click save deficiency. And the deficiency save. I can create more deficiency for that asset or just one. It's not limited on quantity, how many deficiency or how many assets you can create for each classification or asset. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the process. You would just repeat that process for your different types of assets. I mean, you can sit down and think through what a typical asset is for a building. Outside the building, you've got windows and walls and doors and roof and parking lots and sidewalks and whatever. And inside, you've got floors, walls, and ceilings for the most part. You've got some finishes. You've got plumbing fixtures in the bathrooms. Those are the types of assets you're going to be looking to add. So, I mean, that's the process. I know some of you may have started this already. We're curious to see if there are questions. This is kind of your best chance to ask questions with everybody online here. Otherwise,
So I just want to mention that I create a new classification, and When I change to package units, I can see my asset and my deficiency. And when I change to the new classification, I don't see them because I don't have any asset and any deficiency.
Yeah, you still gotta
Right.
figure out the handrail
This
swing.
Yep. But for this one is working.
I saw somebody had a question in the chat. I mean, there are guidelines for useful life, but that's more effort than I think we're asking you guys to put in. I mean, just use your best judgment, especially the remaining useful life. We're asking you to tell us how long you think it's going to last, not necessarily what the book says. So you guys know your equipment better than, you know, everybody else. So you tell us how long you think it has left. Any other questions? Okay. I mean, if that, again, that's the process, Jose, you just want to kind of show them what happens once they're done the survey and how to submit and go back and make edits or anything along those lines.
Yep. So I'm going to go back to the previous screen where I see the facility I just created, which is the last one. If I'm ready to submit, let's say I finished my job for today and I want to submit this to a server, I'm already connected to the internet. I'm in a place where I have internet access in case I work offline. I click on the arrow so I can see my survey again. Here's my survey. Okay, all the data is here. I can add more in case I need to add more. I can continue working. But once I'm done with all the assets and deficiencies, I just click submit survey when I'm ready. It's going to take you to this screen. And
So
there are
I just want to reinforce what you said. So even if you go offline to do your survey, when you're done your survey, you need to get back on the Wi-Fi or cellular service, whatever, and you need to see those little circles down in the bottom left corner. Once you see those circles, you'll be able to submit. If you don't see those circles, you will not be able to submit.
Yes, it's important to submit so we have the data on the server. If not, well, the data is only on your device. So once you are in this screen, you need to click the first step, which is an inventory of everything you did. So in this case, I have 3 classifications, 1 asset and 1 deficiency. Obviously, you will have a lot more than this test, but that's what I have for this test. And then I click step 2, and the step 2 is going to start saving all the data on the server, right? So survey save, everything is saved, so I'm good. So now when I save all the data, now I can save the photos. I click step 3, and it's going to give me an inventory of all the photos. You will see a lot of numbers, but this is because if you have more than 50 or a lot of pictures, so this will make sense. You will see all them separate in different sections. So I have 1 cover photo, 1 asset photos, right, and 1 deficiency photos. So once I click step 3, I click step 4, and it's going to saving the photos. It's going to start saving. There you go, it's saving. For this test, is saving the photos. For you can take a little more time, like a couple of minutes more, because depending the number of photos. But once it's completed, we'll say process complete, and that's it. So I have my status change to submitted. So all my data for this survey has been submitted to the server.
Yeah, and we're asking to submit your surveys every day. Let's say you have a big facility, you start it and don't finish it. We still would like for you to submit it anyway, just so we don't lose your data and lose your photos that you just spent all those hours collecting. And then, you know, if you want to go back
and use that survey again the following day to finish, you can do that. You know, you would just have a new version of the same survey, but at least now everything has been saved and we don't have to worry about losing anything.
So I can go back, like Scott said, you can go back the next day, make more assets, add more assets, more deficiencies, and you can submit the survey again in the following day. So it's not like if you submit it, it's done. No, you can submit it again if you make some changes.
Yeah, and those fields are all editable except for the first drop down, but the other drop downs are editable. So if you put in the roof is 10,000 square feet and then you find out, oh, it's actually 20,000 square feet, you can just go back and edit that and save it again. And, you know, you don't have to start over or anything along those lines.
Yep. That's all.
Okay. So, I mean, that is the full process. I know some of you had questions over the past couple of days. If any of those are still out there, you know, go ahead and ask them now. Now's your best chance to get a quick answer, and also everybody else can benefit. Maybe somebody else has the same issue.
Ken, you've got your hand up. Please go ahead.
Hi, yes. First of all, I want to thank you guys for extending this an extra week because I was very concerned about getting this done by next Wednesday. My question is with regard to starting with classification level 1, and there's a drop-down list. Is it expected that we should have at least one asset from each of those level 1 classifications?
Yeah, I mean, I would think you would have multiples, but you would definitely have assets for pretty much everything. The exceptions would probably be substructure A, just because you probably can't see that unless you have a slab on grade that you can see, which would fall into that category. D10, conveyance. Obviously, some buildings don't have elevators and escalators. It's a single-story building, you won't have that. And then the fare collection. I mean, unless you're a passenger facility, you probably won't have fare collection. Obviously,
Okay.
different types of buildings have different things. So like if it's a fueling station, for example, obviously there's no interior walls, you know, it's just a canopy and some fuel pumps. So that some of those categories would be left out. And then for the G site classification, we're asking to put all of the site features on the main building. So whether it's a maintenance facility or admin facility, whatever that main building is at your site, put the G classifications there. You don't have to do G for every single facility. You can just capture it all in the main building.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think my concern is that in an effort to provide you the information that you need, how far down the rabbit holes do I end up going and taking a picture of every single sink or toilet, or you know how to give you what you need but not get caught up in the weeds by going, you know, down to level 4 could get very tedious.
Well, just the level itself doesn't necessarily make it extra work. So like you could do, like you said, toilets, for example, and you can go to level 4 and pick out toilets, but you can assess all of the toilets in one asset. You can say toilets in general are rated this way, or sinks in general are rated this way.
Okay. All right. I just didn't want to get too deep in the weeds trying to give you what you need, but then
Yeah,
being overwhelmed by it.
it's not our intent to make this a cumbersome thing for you guys. Obviously, when we come out to do the detailed assessments, we're actually going to a level even below level 4. So that's when we get all the extra details. But for you guys, it's just a touch point to see how things are holding up over the 3 years that we're not there.
Okay, thanks. That's very helpful.
No other questions, thoughts, concerns, comments? Anything from you, Grace?
No, I think this was good. I just, yeah, want to remind everybody that we have an extra week, so 2 weeks from today. But again, you know, if things come up, we understand that. So just please keep in touch with us. Like if you expect to need a little bit more time, that is okay. But just, keep us in the loop with things going on. I'm going to make this recording available by the end of the week. So hopefully you'll be able to find that helpful and refer to that as you go out and complete the assessments. Other than that, I don't have anything. I will be interested to hear everyone's feedback at the end of this process, just because, as I said last week, this is my first really exposure with TAM. And so I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on how it went and ways we can improve for next year. So keep that in mind as you go through your assessments, and I'm interested to hear. But yeah, that's all I have. As always, just let me know, myself or Nigel, if you have any questions.
Turn it back to you, Nigel.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it for us then, Grace. Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone for attending. Yeah, as Grace said, feel free to get in touch with any questions. I'm available. Hopefully we've been responding in good time. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Scott and Jose as well. All right. I think when I end, or maybe Stephanie has to end the meeting in order to stop the recording.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you.